All right, Sixers fans, training camp is here. The regular season is right around the corner, so we're going to be ramping up our coverage here on Sixers Now by Chat Sports. So do a fellow Philadelphia guy a favor. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to get to 2K. The boss has said, yo, Chase, you're from Philly and you haven't got to 2,000 subscribers yet. If you want the best Sixers coverage on the internet, smash that subscribe button down below. Yo, Philly. Welcome into Philadelphia 76ers Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Senior. Coming up on today's show, some more Big Baby Ben drama because it continues with Sixers training camp here. There's a bunch of reporting that we want to get to, and also we're going to play a little game, a quote and a take. We'll read some of these quotes from Ramona Shelbourne as well as this story from Kevin O'Connor, which kind of unpacks what the situation is with Simmons as well as this organization. Then I'll offer my opinion on the current scenario going down between Ben and the organization. So let's first start with this reporting from Ramona Shelbourne. She said this: when you talk to people close to Ben Simmons, I say, okay, worst case scenario, this takes all year. Would he sit out all year? And the answer right now from Ben Simmons' camp is yes. This doesn't come as much of a surprise to me because Ben Simmons has always been a celebrity first and a hooper second. Basketball is his job. It's not really his passion, and that's why he's never grown upon his game to improve on his flaws and improve on his weaknesses to become a great player. And to me, it's become clear over time that the Philadelphia 76ers, even though they included Ben Simmons in that potential trade for James Harden, they have tried to save this relationship. Shoot, Doc Rivers, Daryl Morey, Elton Brand, Josh Harris flew out to Los Angeles to try to talk to Simmons and Rich Paul. We'll explain some of that coming up. And then Joel Embiid, Matisse Thybulle, and Tobias Harris were willing to get on a PJ, hop on the private jet to go out to Ben Simmons' lavish Los Angeles mansion to talk to him, to try and convince him to come to training camp to partake and play with his teammates with the Sixers to try to salvage this relationship. But Ben Simmons isn't having any of this, and this was made clear in this recent story from Kevin O'Connor in The Ringer. He explained what kind of happened between the front office, Rich Paul, and Ben Simmons when they flew out to L.A. 6 weeks ago, a Sixers contingent, including Doc Rivers, executives Daryl Morey and Elton Brand, and owner Josh Harris, flew to Los Angeles hoping to convince Ben Simmons to return to Philadelphia for training camp or at least gain clarity on why he wants out. Sources with knowledge of the meeting say Simmons, who was accompanied by Rich Paul, that fraud, gave no clear reason why he demanded to be traded earlier in the offseason. Simmons does indeed feel slighted by comments made by Doc Rivers and Joel Embiid following Philadelphia's playoff series loss to the Atlanta Hawks. But his decision wasn't based on that or the backlash from Philly fans or the fact that the Sixers tried to trade him for James Harden. The Sixers brass left the meeting feeling Simmons had essentially said, it's not you, it's me. What does that even mean? I mean, you dumb it down, and basically what it means to me as I dissect this has always been a Ben Simmons problem. It's never really been a Philadelphia 76ers problem. Ben Simmons is the one who has neglected to improve his free throw shooting. He's the one who's never developed an outside shot, or at least a competent elbow jumper or a baseline jumper. It's Ben Simmons' flaws as the biggest reason and one of the lone reasons why the Sixers have failed to get out of the second round in the Eastern Conference playoffs. The Sixers have tried to make it work. Last offseason, in his first as general manager, Daryl Morey constructed a roster that made a lot more sense around Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. And if Simmons would have come up a little bit bigger in that second round series against the Hawks, we might be talking about a team that made it to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time since 2001. Maybe they would have made it to the finals for the first time since that aforementioned season when the Sixers went down against the Los Angeles Lakers. But Ben Simmons was afraid to shoot the rock. Ben Simmons looked scared to be on the floor as a point guard in crunch time as a max player. Ben Simmons was the one who gave up the rock to Matisse Thybulle instead of slamming that ball home around the 3-minute mark in Game 7 at home. This has always been a Ben Simmons problem. And that has become true with all of this reporting. And Simmons is kind of just almost like it's confusing to me how he just refuses to acknowledge his mistakes and his flaws. So who is to blame? I think it's Ben Simmons, even though I'm going to defend Simmons here in a little bit. But who's to blame between the organization and Simmons? Type 76 for the Sixers, type BS for Ben Simmons. Get those votes in the comment section down below. And if you're new to us here at Chat Sports, we're a very interactive YouTube channel. We love hearing all of you sound off in the comment section. Now, if you want to bet on the Sixers to maybe win the East, Joel Embiid to win the NBA MVP, or maybe the Philadelphia Eagles throughout the NFL season, we can get you hooked up, and you can do so thanks to our sportsbook partner, BetUS. If you go to chatsports.com/EaglesBet, we made a custom link for all the Birds fans out there, and you enter the promo code EAGLES125, you get a 125% deposit bonus, meaning you put $100 into your account, you get an additional $125 back. That's $225 to game with. Going into this Sunday, Eagles, they have their work cut out for them. Going up against the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs have lost 2 consecutive games. The Eagles were not ready to play and were incredibly sloppy on Monday night, getting embarrassed by the Dallas Cowboys. Do they come back as 7.5-point underdogs and maybe at least cover that touchdown plus spread, or do you like the over-under at 54.5? Get those bets in, lay the bread down, chatsports.com/EaglesBet, enter the promo code EAGLES125. Now, last week we had talked about how Doc Rivers went on ESPN and he said, look, people are overplaying my comments about what I said about Simmons after Game 7 when he was asked, can Ben Simmons be a point guard of a championship team? And in the moment, Doc Rivers had said, I don't know the answer to that. He has made it clear then and now that he'd like to have Simmons back on the team this year. Now, I think part of that is he's trying to increase the Sixers' leverage. He's trying to up Simmons' trade value, but he's making some decent points, and he's at least, once again, trying to make this relationship work. Like maybe having Ben Simmons in a Giannis Antetekounmpo role. Kevin O'Connor continued in that story, saying this. Rivers said he wanted to put Simmons in a more situation that kind of resembled Giannis Antetokounmpo's role in Milwaukee, with 4 short shooters surrounding him, empowering him to be the primary scoring option with the second unit. Rivers and Daryl Morey, according to sources, said that Simmons and Embiid are the best defensive duo in basketball, and with some slight tweaks, they could be even more productive on the offensive end. Simmons wasn't enthused by that. Now, I'll kind of side with Ben Simmons here because the Sixers should have done this a long time ago. They neglected to put together a roster that had complementary pieces around Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. And maybe a couple years ago, they should have decided between one of Embiid or maybe Simmons. And if it was Simmons, they should have utilized him in a Giannis role. And when Simmons looks across the landscape of all the other teams in the NBA, destinations where he could possibly go, he probably wants to go to a team where he is the offensive focal point, like Giannis, and he plays on a team where offensively they can spread 4 wide outside on the perimeter. Ben Simmons doesn't have to worry about his biggest fear, which is shooting the basketball, and he can rely on his strengths, using his size, using his speed, his explosiveness, his physicality to get to the cup, finish around the rim, but also use that innate special passing ability to set up his teammates to try to score some points from beyond the arc and create in that regard. So Simmons is probably just frustrated that over and over again, to him, and I don't necessarily agree with it, the on-court pairing between him and Embiid has just gone up in flames. And he's very frustrated with his current role, and he's to the point where he's like, you know what? We've tried some things. You guys have ignored some of my requests. I don't even want to go back there. Think about a Giannis role all you want. I'm not going to be a part of it. Now, going back to Ramona Shelbourne's reporting of Ben Simmons wanting to sit out possibly the entire year if the Sixers don't trade him, do you think that that's a possibility? Type L for likely, type U for unlikely. Sound off and let me know in the comment section down below. Once again, another reminder to subscribe to Sixers Now by Chat Sports. I've been so busy doing a bunch of NFL content here at Chat Sports, but with the season right around the corner, we're going to be upping our coverage right here on the channel, so it's a perfect time for you to subscribe.